Good morning, students. Today we are starting our next chapter, chapter number 4, human development. Right? In the first two chapters, means chapter number 2 and 3, we discussed about the population and the demographic structure. Right? Now, this chapter is also related to the population of any country. It means human development. Right, this is very important aspect of any country which shows the economic, social and cultural prosperity and growth of the country. Right, first of all, when we took the name of growth and development, generally we considered it in the same way, but growth and development are the two different aspect. Growth and development, what is growth, what is development? Before proceeding the chapter, we must then what is the difference between the growth and development, right? First of all, growth and development refers to the changes over a period of time. If there is any change during a specific period of time, then we consider it as a growth and development, right? But the difference between the growth and development is growth is quantitative. Growth is quantitative means we can measure it in figures, like our income. Suppose today my income is 5,000 per month. Maybe in the next month it may be 6,000. So the growth will be 1,000. So we can measure it. But the development is a qualitative. Qualitative means when our the quality of our life is increasing, then we can say that we are developing, right? If my income is increasing but my standard of living is same, I am living as it is primitive standard, then I am not considered as be developed. If I am not going to school, my children are not going to school, or if I cannot provide them medical facility by this increased income, then it will not be considered as a development, because there is no change, there is no improvement in my the quality of life, right? So remember, growth is a quantitative change which can be measured. Development is a qualitative change, right? So development will be always be positive. Development concept always be positive. No, if we have AC this time or cooler this time in summers, if we remove the cooler from our houses anyhow, then we can consider it as development. And vice versa, if we place AC instead of cooler, it means we are developing. So development is always a positive, but the growth can be negative as well as positive. Suppose in this pandemic time, suppose my income is 5,000 this month. Maybe due to any reason, it can be reduced in the next month, 5,000 to 4,000. So there was a reduction. So it can be negative, it can be positive, but development is always a positive concept, right? Second, development cannot take place unless there is an increment or addition to the existing condition. As I gave you the example of cooler and all that, so there must be an increment or addition in our existing lifestyle or existing conditions. But growth can be positive or negative or neutral. My income can be increased, my income can be decreased, or my income can be remain same. So positive growth does not always lead to development. Maybe in the next month my income increased 6,000, but I didn't made any changes in my lifestyle. I didn't use that increased income to enhance my lifestyle or the development of my family. So it doesn't mean always positive growth always led to the development. The next difference between the two is development occurs where there is a positive change in qualities. Either economic growth and development of country was seen as one, but not they are studied separately. Right? When we talked about the country, growth and development both are considered, they are not studied separately. Next is the main concept, human development. Now you are able to understand the difference between the growth and development. Development means when the every sphere of life there is a change, there is a positive change in every sphere of life, whether it is in the income form, whether it is a educational status, whether it is a health status, whether it is access to resources. So there must be a positive change in our life that considered to be as developed. So when we talked about the countries, that these countries developing country, this country is developed country, it doesn't mean we are comparing the countries only on the income basis. We are comparing the countries on some other basis also, which we will discuss in this chapter. Right? We classify the countries into three categories: underdeveloped, developing, and developed countries. How we can classify these countries into these three groups? There are some criterias. In spite of income, there are other criterias also which are considered to classify the countries according to the development. Now the question is, who gave the concept of development? Right? So who were the first who gave the concept of development? So this concept was introduced by the Dr. Mehboob ul Haq of Pakistan in 1990. He described development as the largest pupils' choice, improve their lives, thus creating this creating conditions where people can lead meaningful lives. Right? It means human development, according to Dr. Mehboob ul Haq, income is not the sufficient criteria of the development. If people do not have the choices to choose their career, how they will get the choices? When they will be educated, right? Otherwise, in the primitive society, what happened? The son and the son adopt the business of his father or forefather. This was hereditary, है ना? Because they do not have any choices. They do not have any knowledge or skill of any other professions. So development means enlarges people choice, improve their lives. There is must be improvement in their life, and the people must live a meaningful life. We have to do something in our life. We want to do something in our life. If we are getting this choice, this type of choice, then we can consider a person or a country to be developed according to Mehboob ul Haq. They were the second. Both the philosophers are from Eastern Asian countries. One from Pakistan and second from India, Amartya Sen. Actually, initially both were friends, right? The second was Professor Amartya Sen. The main objective of development is an increase in freedom. He included in the Amartya Sen definition that there must be increase in freedom. Freedom, which type of freedom? ये नहीं कि आप you are permitted to slap anyone. Not this type of freedom. Freedom to make choices brings development, and social and political institutions play a major role to increasing freedom. So freedom, which type of freedom? Choice bring means what do you want to do in your life. what type of occupation you want to adopt. Suppose you want to be a doctor in your life, then which type of policies, which type of economic, social and cultural institution, government institution help you to achieve this goal. This type of freedom is included in the development. Building people capabilities, and how the people will able to do whatever they want if they are healthy, if they are educated, and if they have the access to resources. Access to resources means income. No doubt income is very important, because if you want to go to the any educational institute, no doubt you need money. So these three things are needed to enlarge the pupil's choice, to make the pupil capable. So these three are known as the indicators. So these are the indicators of development. Write down. First is health, second is education, and third is equal access to resources. To be developed, these three things must be there, right? So these are known as the indicators. Indicators of development, correct? Now there are four pillars of human development, four pillars on which the development is based upon. The first is equity. Equity refers to the equal access to opportunities available to everybody, irrespective to their gender, race, income, and caste. If the government, if the country is providing the resources to the citizen of the country, it must be provided to all, irrespective of any caste, religion, income, or caste, gender. Right? So the equal opportunities provided to all with irrespective of any discrimination. That is called equity. No doubt, if every person of a country will be developed, the country will automatically develop. So it is necessary to provide the opportunities to all. Second is sustainability. Sustainability means if we are using the opportunities or resources, so it will remain for the future generation also, right? So it means continuity in the availability of opportunities, so that future generation can even use the present resources. So we must use the resources in a sustainable manner, in a useful manner, in efficiently manner, that then the future generation also can use them. The third is productivity. Productivity is related to the human labor, how much labor we can do. So it is called our productivity. Suppose I am capable to deliver 7 lecture in a day, so it is my productivity. It will be called my productivity, right? So human labor, which must be enriched by building capabilities in people. It can be done by enriching the capability, and this capability comes through with the help of education and skill, right? So this capability came from education and skill. Education and skill makes a person capable to do their own work. The last pillar is empowerment. Empowerment to make a person strong, right? If I want to become a doctor, suppose if I want to become a doctor, then I must be empowered by the institute. I must be empowered by the government policy. So there are some government policies. There is a role of some government policies and institutions which make the person empowered, by which they can make their own choices, right? Similarly, there are some guidance also, right? Sometimes you may be confused. You ask to your teacher or you ask to your parents what I have to do in my future. They will guide you. These are the benefits of this stream. These are the benefits of this profession, right? Now you are able to choose any one of them. This type of guidance, government policies, right, and the institution make a person empowered to choose their career or to make their choices. So these are the four pillars of human development on which the development based upon. First is equity, equal opportunities to all. Sustainability, resources used to be present and preserve for the future generation also. Third, productivity. It can be a pupil must be capable to make their choices by the education and the skill. Fourth, empowerment. The pupil having the power to make choices. In the primitive society, girls do not have the power to do any outside work, right? So they do not have any choices for their own. Now these days girls are also capable to make their choices. They are empowered. They are empowered by the education. They are empowered by the guidance. They are empowered by the government policies. Government makes more and more policies to promote the education of the girls. So this is the best example of empowerment, right? So these are the four pillars. Now come to the approaches. Approaches means there is a change change about the views of human development, right? Time to time there is an increment in the development views. First is income approach. In the previous time or initial time, this approach is related to the income. Then the pupil think that if the income is increasing, the person is developing. If the income of any country is increasing, it means the country is developing. This was a previous thought or initial thought of the persons or the countries. It is related to the income. Higher the income, higher the development. Lower the income means lower the development. So at that time, only income was the only criteria to decide the development of any country or any person. Now when the time goes up, that some concept included in the development. So the second approach was welfare approach. According to this approach, government is responsible for providing basic facilities like health, education and amenities to the people, right? So there is a role of government. In this approach, the philosophers thought that this is a main role of government to provide the basic amenities, basic needs to the people of their country. So here the government is active participants and the citizens are only passive, right? गवर्नमेंट ने सब कुछ करना है, सिटीजन ने उसे मानना है, राइट? Third approach is basic need approach. Now when we grows, when we develop, some necessities were there and the thought was changed and it includes some basic needs. Six basic needs. If a person or a country is providing these six basic needs to their people, or if these six basic needs are fulfilling or, by a pupil, then they will considered as a develop. These basic needs are health, education, food, water supply, sanitation, and housing. If a person is getting all these six basic needs, he will be considered as a developed person, right? There is a missing of capabilities. So the last approach, which is given by the Professor Amartya Sen, who made the Human Development Index first in 1919, he added human capability in health, in education, and in access to resources to increase the human development. So it is not sufficient to consider the income, or to provide the basic need. In spite of all these, there must be human capabilities, and it can be through the health, education, and access to resources. So there is a change from ancient to present time in the concept of development. First was income approach, where income was the only indicator to make the development. Second, welfare approach, when the government is providing the facility for the welfare of the people. Third, basic need approach. In this approach, if the basic needs of a human being, health, education, food, water supply, sanitation, and housing is fulfilling, then the person will be developed. And it was given by the ILO, International Labour Organization. Who gave this approach? International Labor Organization. Next is capability approach, which is given by Amartya Sen, and he included basic human capabilities, health, education, and access to resources. Now, how we can measure the human development? Because it is a qualitative change, there is a change in quality, not in quantity. Then how can we measure the human development? So there are some ways by which we can measure the human development. There are two ways. First is preparing human development index. Second is human poverty index. Two types of index we maintained to ensure the human development of any country. Come to the first, human development index. Human development index, in this index, in short form we call it HDI, right? By this index, we ranks the country between 0 to 1. 0 to 1, these rank is given according to the performance of any country in the key areas of health, education, and access to resources. The three indicators, right? What is the health status? What is the educational status? What is the access to resources means income, right? So what is the health status in a country? It was given the rank. Education given the rank. Income wise given the rank. It means every country got the rank 1/3, right? 3 parts में उनको rank दिया जाता है, and sub total of all these ranks is included in HDI, right? To prepare the HDI, the countries were given the ranks on the basis of health, education, and access to resources means income. Means they were given the rank according to 1/3, and when they are given the rank in the 3 spheres, they were get all together and prepare the HDI of every country. It is the sum total of weightage assigned to health, education, and access to resources. Indicator to access health is, if we are talked about the health, the indicator life expectancy at birth is taken. Life expectancy at birth means a person, we assumed a person at the time of birth, how much long life he or she will live. That is called life expectancy. Second, to access knowledge, it includes adult literacy rate and gross enrollment ratio. Adult literacy rate means a person above age 18 who can read and write, he or she will be considered as a literate person. Gross enrollment ratio, how many students are enrolling in the schools. So these two criteria, these two measures are taken to prepare the educational level. Third is access to resources. Access to resources are taken in the terms of purchasing power. Purchasing power comes from income. So access to resources, to make the criteria, to make the rank of the access of resources, we taken income as an indicator, right? So there are 3 basic indicators by which the countries are ranked. First is health. In health, we took life expectancy at birth. Second is education. In education, we took literacy rate and enrollment ratio. Third, access to resources, and to create the rank on this indicator, we took purchasing power like income, right? So it helps us. Human Development Index helps us to know about the attainment of any country, how much the particular country attain in health sphere, in educational sphere, in income, right? So this shows the attainment. So this shows attainment, what we achieve in these areas. Second is Human Poverty Index. So this index measures a shortfall in human development, where we are lacking. If the poverty is showing that, it means we are lacking in these areas. So this index is based on the probabilities of not surviving till 40, adult literacy rate, people not having access to clean drinking water, number of underweight children. These are the criteria to make the Human Poverty Index. So these give us the knowledge of shortfall in human development, in which sphere we are lacking, in which section we have to improve, in which for which section the government had need to make policies, right? So these two are the ways to measure the human development. Now, there are some programs to make human developments. First is United Nations Development Program, which is called UNDP, and it was started 1990. Since 1990, UNDP every year publish the Human Development Index as well as the Human Poverty Index to know about the development of the country. But every country prepare this index for their country, but Bhutan is an exception. In Bhutan, gross national happiness was taken as the to prepare the HDI, gross national happiness, GNH, which is another measure of accessing human development. According to the Bhutan, the country must be developed, but not on the cost of environment. Every person must be happy in a safe and a clean environment. So they took GNH as their HDI. So the GNH increases the qualitative aspect of development, right? Now, international comparison. We classified the countries on the basis of HDI and on comparing the